What is up, guys? John Claymore here, Gear Issue 33, and we are going to be looking at another scenario involving nuclear war between the United States and Russia. Now, guys, I want to take a look at this one more time. Of course, some of the content creators. This guy right here is called Military Weapons 555. It's a smaller channel. Looks like it's a brand new channel as well. I want to go ahead and take a look at this because these guys oftentimes present a lot of very good overall, how do I say, let's just say pretty good scenarios. Now, with that right there being said, let's go ahead and dive into this. So we got right here plan A, and let's go ahead and get into it. Yes. So we got right here plan A, and let's go ahead and get into it. Ooh, it's where it does conventional and it goes off of non-conventional, and it has actual estimates of casualty figures. Oh, single shots. Now, really quick, guys, Kaliningrad is right over here. It is, well, actually, it's right here. Kaliningrad is oftentimes viewed as still old Russian territory. In case you guys are kind of chiming in, don't worry, I'll be leaving some things in the description box on Kaliningrad and its actual relationship to Russia. That right there will be in the description box. Let's keep going. And that strike right there, it looks like it would be in Germany. Let's see what we got here. As the nuclear threshold is crossed, fighting escalates to a tactical nuclear war in Europe. Russia sends 300 nuclear warheads via aircraft and short-range missiles to hit NATO bases and advancing troops. NATO responds with approximately 180 nuclear warheads via aircraft. Now, guys, and what the estimate is 2.6 million casualties over 3 hours. I think that the overall casualty count would probably be a lot more than this. I would say probably long-term, you're probably looking at about 20 or 30. I would suggest probably all of Europe itself would actually be affected. I remember when Chernobyl, when you actually look at it, you see that the Russians were looking at a lot more overall casualty, possible potential future casualties, of course, being disease and cancer. Now, Europe, on the other hand, was also the main concern at that time. The U.S. at least had its distance, but Europe was an issue then. Of course, NATO right now, we're sticking together. This right here seems like a light, like a smaller overall load. However, tactical nuclear missiles are designed more for battlefield. It's designed to actually take out more forces on the ground, tanks, weapons, etc., etc., etc. Still, at the same time, though, 2.6 million over 3 hours immediate seems a little bit light. I would go ahead and bring that up to about 3.5, and obviously the long term would probably be right around 30 to 40. Of course, Europe being very, very condensed, but let's go ahead and keep this going. Oh, I didn't catch this from Princeton University. Sorry about that, guys. And there goes Italy. We'll wait for all these to drop real quick before I chime in. Now, guys, before we watch this second load, I want you to go ahead and see something. This right here is basically the heart of England. It's pretty much gone. France, everything looks like it's north of what we would have called the Lorraine territory towards the Rhine. France, to me, does not look very strong. By the way, that was Poland that got hit first, not Germany. But, of course, Germany would feel the actual striking. Just want to go ahead and say my bad on that one. It looks to me like if you actually look into this particular simulation here, this right here is pretty much all of Europe. The only thing that would survive at this moment in time would obviously be Sweden and Norway. But you're looking at these strikes coming from very northern end of Russia, especially right here towards the western section. It looks to me like Europe, for the most part, is pretty much devoured. You even see a few shots here in Ukraine. You see one shot right here on the island of Crete. You also see Sicily, the vast majority of northern Italy. You can pretty much go ahead and forget about Switzerland or Luxembourg. This map is not exactly drawn out to be completely accurate like you would actually see it on an actual physical map. But I'm pretty sure you guys are starting to get the gist. Like I said, 2.6 million sounds pretty light. Counterforce plan: with Europe destroyed, NATO launches a strategic nuclear strike of all 600 warheads from U.S. land submarine-based missiles aimed at Russian nuclear forces. Before losing its weapon systems, Russia launches on warning, responding with missiles launched from silos. Road mobile vehicles and submarines, immediate casualties over 45 minutes, estimated to be about 3.4 million. I'm sorry, I think that the overall total of casualties at this moment in time would pretty much be more than half of Europe at this moment in time. I'd also suggest a good portion of Russia. Even though a lot of Russia is rural, I would suggest that right now the total casualties you're looking at is probably closer to 50 or 60 million. And I would also argue at that same time that the people affected is going to be close to 100 million. Not to mention the fact that what if the wind is blowing everything south? I understand it might sound like it may contradict itself, but what if this ends up in northern Africa? Also, if that is the case, you're also looking at possibility of radical Islam getting involved in this. The Middle East is, I think you guys kind of figure out that nuclear wars, if something was to happen between the U.S. and Russia, it would trigger an entire worldwide affair. Submarine attacks. Okay, now guys, before we read this, and I probably should put like a bookmark on this video before I did that. Now guys, this right here, while it does look scary to a certain degree, is also somewhat unrealistic. The United States has the largest air force in the world, so some missiles would probably slip in, but let's be honest, a lot of missiles would be shot down in the process. I would think, if anything, that the missiles that were aimed strictly at the cities would probably be the areas that would be the most, those right there would probably be the most guarded. However, missiles aiming towards rural areas like in Colorado, Idaho, of course, throughout the entire American continent, a lot of those missiles would also get stopped by our actual Air Corps. Not to mention, a lot of our missiles are defensive in nature too, meaning that, let's just say, for example, you have one missile, but yet you've got 12 to 26 warheads in it. If anything, I think that the warheads coming from the submarines would actually be the ones that would actually make contact with Russia's actual land itself, whereas some of our tactical nuclear missiles would definitely be designed to stop some of their tactical nukes from coming over. If anything, I think our Air Force would actually stop a great portion of it. So when I read the counter value plan with the aim of inhibiting the other side's recovery, Russia and NATO each target the other's 30 most populated cities and economic centers using 5 to 10 warheads on each city, depending on its population size. I find it to be a little bit hard to believe. A lot of American cities are very, very condensed. It would probably only take one nuke to actually completely devastate New York City, something right around 20 megaton. You fire it into Manhattan, you completely destroy it. You probably take out a portion of the Bronx. You probably take out a portion of Brooklyn. I think, Brooklyn and Queens, my bad. And, of course, you had the fallout. Now, of course, if that missile was launched, say, somewhere like, say, the Rocky Mountains at the most, it's probably just going to destroy some rocks, and, of course, it's going to leave some fallout. But as I was mentioning earlier, a lot of these nuclear weapons, a lot of these nukes themselves will be stopped by our overall Air Force and naval power. also, as I mentioned before, a lot of our nukes that are tactical would be designed to shoot down the nukes coming in. So I see possibly like we'll just put it this way here. Russia would probably experience like a 40% loss. The United States would probably immediately receive something like a 15% loss. Now, the overall casualty count, our 15% of casualty, 15% of people in the country that get nailed, is obviously roughly a little bit more than what it is in Russia. Russia's only got about 150, 160 million people. The United States got 322. But still, at the same time, it looks like the United States would be better equipped to defend against and possibly survive. I'll leave those videos in the comment section and the description box of this video here, so that way you guys can kind of check that out as well. Of course, YouTube is bogging down the channel again, but then again, I've not been on as of late, so that may have something to do with it. So 85.3 million casualties, the immediate. I would say it's probably going to be close to about 120 or 130. The fallout, of course, would probably bring the total to about 250 if you actually look into it. Nuclear war is not something that, quite frankly, should be taken lightly. It should be taken seriously. I don't personally think it's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure you guys are seeing that these estimates here are a little bit low. We'll just put it that way. Submarine strikes. $91.5 million number of immediate casualties, including casualties 34.1 million, 57 point, yeah. The death with long-term effects would significantly increase the estimate. First of all, as I've said before, and we're now seeing this is from Princeton University. I didn't catch that earlier. I just kind of went knee-jerk on this one here. The thing is this right here, 91.5 million, that seems a little bit low. I would say that the real figure is probably just between the U.S., Russia, and Europe. I would say the immediate would be somewhere between 250 to 300 million. I think that the actual overall number, of course, that there being fallout and everything would probably affect double the size. However, as I've said before in the previous little reaction, I don't think the United States would be as affected as Russia would be. I know what you're thinking. Russia's mostly a land-based nation, not as many people as I mentioned before. But as I said before, the United States employs an air force and a naval force that's about 3 times the size of Russia itself as far as their military capabilities is concerned. Something else, too, to consider is our actual doctrine. You see, a big portion of our doctrine is to use F-15s, F-16s, even some of those ones that are deemed obsolete. FA-22s, of course, are designed to target and shoot down these missiles in the air. Not to mention, we would also be firing a lot of weapons, like space-age weapons, at them, too. We've got a much, even though our space program has declined a little bit, it's still better than Russia and China's. So the only way Russia would be able to get a full actual destruction of the United States, they would have to rely on just about everybody in the world to do so. I mean, talk about Pakistan, which, by the way, they don't have nukes that can reach us either. They can reach India. China, they have the supersonic missiles, but then again, at the same time, there's a lot of panic there. What I'm saying is that our overall doctrine would probably protect us from about, I would say, 75% of the actual fallout itself. Of course, this also depends on who you've got running the country at the time and who's near the actual button. But if you actually look at our systems compared to theirs, I think that the nuclear fallout, the nuclear war would be much, much more devastating on the continents of Europe and, of course, Asia itself. The United States, of course, would get hit, it would get hurt, but I think that the actual devastation itself would be worse over there. We will be doing more videos on this and more reactions to this. We're going to be pumping out one a day this week. I've been a little bit off, but guys, Gear Issue 33, if you like the content, if you have anything to say, if you guys want to add to this right here, please leave it in the comment section. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I'll leave a link to my main channel, John Claymore, in the comment section as well. If you guys like this stuff, like I said, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, leave a comment, sign up in the comment section, and I will see you guys later.